Now we're going to go ahead and go to Jamil Jaffer, the director of the National Security Law and Policy Program at George Mason University, also former chief counsel and senior advisor for the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Jamil, thank you for joining us. As you watch these scenes of people just chanting and just very excited about a possible future without the Assad regime, what are your thoughts? What is the first thing that comes to mind?
Well, Miriam, obviously it's an important day for Syria. This has been a long-standing fight against the oppression of the Bashar Assad regime. At the same time, this organization, HTS, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, was born out of Jabhat al-Nusra, the al-Qaeda organization that formed in the lead up to the Syrian civil war, during the early part of the Syrian civil war in 2013. So there are questions about the relationship of this rebel group to its former allies in al-Qaeda as well as ISIS. And so I think some of the big concerns we have in this fight are, who are these folks? How are they going to act in power? And are they really ready to make a break? One, with the history of the Assad regime, but second, with their own history of relationships with terrorist groups like al-Qaeda and ISIS.
Now, that's interesting when you talk about that, because we've talked about all these different factions and the power vacuum that's going to be created, by Assad no longer being the leader. Where do you see this going? Do you see the people coming together and just saying, let's move forward? He's gone. Let's all join forces. Or do you think this is going to devolve into chaos for these people?
Well, it's a great question. I think a few questions that have to be asked. One, what about those old regime forces? Obviously, they have not put up very much of a fight. They didn't put up much of a fight in Hama or in Homs just over the last few days. They haven't in Damascus. They've melted back into the... Will they come back with Iranian backing? Will they come back with Russian backing? Will they continue the civil war that's gone on for 13 years? Or now that Assad has left the country, will they simply try to integrate into a larger government? And then the question of these groups that have come together, some are aligned with U.S. interests, obviously the Kurds in the north, where we've got 2,000 American soldiers there fighting with them to prevent ISIS from rising up again. But the question is, what will this new regime that's taken power in Damascus, what will their composition be? What will their view on the world be? Who will they ally themselves with? We know that Hayat Tahrir al-Sham has been backed by Turkey primarily, which is, of course, a NATO ally, but also a NATO ally that has purchased surface-to-air missiles in the recent past from Russia. So, we have some challenges in that region, and they fought against our friends, the Kurds. And so, these are hard questions. It'll be interesting to see how the next few days, weeks, and months play out. What is clear is the Biden administration is not interested in getting involved in this fight, and President Trump, for his part, coming into office in January, has made very clear the U.S. does not want to be involved in this fight either. So it doesn't look like the U.S. government's going to get engaged at any significant level beyond the 2,000 forces we have there in the north with our friends, the Kurds.
And you mentioned Russia and Iran. How are they going? How is this going to affect them? I mean, they were supporters of of Assad. How is that going to play out with regard to this?
Well, look, obviously Russia has important interests in the region. They have that naval base at Tartus, which they've had for many years. It's an important part of their power projection into the Middle East. They've spent a lot of time and a lot of money backing Bashar Assad, but of course they're quite distracted with the fight in Ukraine and the fight on their own Russian territory as well that Ukraine has taken. So they're distracted by that. Iran, for its part, had significant setbacks with the fighting against Hezbollah by Israel in the north, the loss of significant numbers of Hezbollah leaders in the past. Iran has tasked Hezbollah with going to Syria to fight on behalf of Assad. That's not happening this time around. So the question is, though, will Iran and Russia come together to try and make a pitch or try and make a push with these traditional Syrian armed forces to come back and try to retake Syria and retake Damascus? They haven't put up a fight for now, which means those fighters are still alive and operating. Will they ultimately try to make a run back? That's hard to see. It's hard to believe that's going to happen, but never put anything past Russia or Iran.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being with us.